Meet me. Alright, boys. Welcome back to another episode of Dr. Squirrel's Hero Previews, and today we're going to discuss two new heroes. Lua, I don't know who she is, but I'm assuming she's from the story. I haven't really done the past few chapters. And we also have ML Elena, or Astromancer Elena. So I don't know anything about their kits yet, other than that this is apparently an Ice Ranger. So we get to experience it together. And ooh, she has a crit chance team imprint. That's already pretty cool. Alright, so let's take a look-see. Again, I usually skip the intro stuff. I do want to see her stats, though, her base stats. Okay, here we go. So Ice Rangers, if we didn't have enough of those... 120 base speed, pretty damn fast, and she has effectiveness, so we can assume it's some kind of debuffing unit. And wow, 17.4% crit chance imprint. Is that normal? That sounds high. Maybe that's normal. But alright, well, let's see. Some kind of fast debuffer looks like. So we start off with her skill 2. Attacks the enemy with light, dispelling 2 buffs before putting them to sleep for 1 turn, and grants an extra turn to the caster. This is pretty cool, I guess. Like, if you want to, what's it's meant to do? Like, counter something like a Politis or something, maybe? Like, you put them to sleep so it shuts down their passive. Against something like Rimuru, I mean, I guess she's on an ML, she could just miss or something, but I guess any non-grass unit that has some kind of annoying passive that triggers, maybe you could shut it down by putting them to sleep. Let's see it.
Buffs. Before putting them to sleep for 1 turn. Grants an extra turn to the caster.
Oh, it does damage too. And pretty terrible damage, but it looks like it's just some debuff unit. 17.8 KHP on a ranger. Pretty beefy. Skill 3, Sweet Talk. Dispels 1 buff from all enemies. Okay, so some kind of debuff unit before increasing skill cooldowns by 1 turn. Okay, so kind of like a Judge Kisei, except it's 100%. And inflicting Beguile. Increased speed of all allies for 2 turns. At the end of the turn, deals additional damage to all allies of the target, except for the target, equivalent to 10% of their max health. Only despite. So, am I reading this right? So if you apply it to their whole team and it does 10% of their max health to each of them, their whole team loses 40% of their HP, right? And it's at the end of the turn. So I guess they could cleanse it, like if DN goes or something, they could cleanse it all before it happens. And it can... Oh, but she resets their skill cooldown, so... Okay, let's see it. How do we get there? Right here. Oh no, we want to see the whole thing, so let's go back a little bit.
Equivalent to 10% of their respective max health. The Beguile effect applies to
Waifu pose. Oh wait, it's a non-attack skill too, so it can't miss.
Max health. The Beguile effect applies to heroes only.
I like the this thing, like the huge circular icon.
Heroes only, and is dispelled once the effect is activated.
Okay, so how much did that actually hit for?
And is dispelled once the effect is activated.
2566. So 10%. So yeah, that makes about sense. So this is a 25 KHP Aravi, but it's triggering a bunch of times. So yeah, it looks like if the whole team gets it, like it's going to be 40% of their health and damage. Huh. All right, folding fan. Okay, just a basic attack. Let's see the animation, but it has a 40% chance to defense break.
Increased defense for 2 turns.
That animation sucks, but I like actually the attack animation blows.
For 2 turns.
But I like the little teleport back. That looks pretty sweet. All right, before we go into thoughts, let's look at our artifact too. That's a stupid name already. Spatio-temporal fan. Okay. Increase effectiveness by 20%. Well, let's look at the second one. After using a non-attack skill, has a 100% chance to grant stealth to the ally, except for the caster with the highest attack for 2 turns. It's like a weird guiding light. It's like a guiding light that you could give to your teammate. And from the showcase, it looks like you could build her pretty tanky. The showcase one at 18k HP, so you build like a tank, like a tank support unit almost. And you can, I mean, dispellable stealth is always kind of wonky though, right? Because you have to kind of hope they don't have any AoEs, like, you know, pretty much anything that counters Arya, like Lion and stuff, that just like hits everything anyway. But still, like in the right draft, this could be pretty decent. I feel like I would probably just use her on Flan's artifact though, the thing that like CR pushes you and gives you more souls. But this might not be a bad alternative. Why is the rest of the video so long? Oh, are they just going into full showcases of the heroes now? I don't think they used to do this. So let's watch the whole Beguile section together so I can really see how this works.
Suffer an eternity of pain.
Okay, so they're all at full HP here. They all got Beguile, so we should be expecting them to lose 40% HP each, right?
Guiding light, illuminate the unknown.
Alright, there's the 2566 tick.
Can do it.
Is he gonna kill them all before they get a turn?
So this should be enough. Are you sure?
Yeah, not the greatest showcase because we could barely even see the Beguile damage, but yeah, 40% damage, 1 turn reset. I actually think this hero might be pretty toxic. I mean, she's pretty fast, so you could build her really fast, and you know, this opener is actually pretty brutal, right? You can strip 2 buffs, so even something like FCC isn't going to protect you with like immunity and stuff. You could sleep 1 person, you know, something like a Politis, whoever's going to screw up your non-attack skills. And this isn't even a non-attack skill, so it doesn't trigger that. This is an attack skill. And then you go straight into the non-attack skill, which can shut down any cleanses to remove the Beguile, and because it decreases your skill cooldown or increases it by 1 turn. And it helps your whole team turn cycle. So I think this is actually an extremely powerful opener, guys. Like, I actually think this hero looks pretty good. The main downside to this hero is, I mean, also she can soul burn, although she's not a mage, so she can't carry Tagahells. But assuming that this opener lands on everything, and that's always the wonky thing with heroes like this, though, right? Like, where, you know, you need one, like, when it's a AoE attack that hits 4 people, chances are one of them is going to 15%. Like, it just always happens. And if it's the wrong hero, like the Mediator Cowric or the DN 15%s it, it gets real awkward quick, right? Because then that hero is pretty much useless. It's like, you know, the same thing could happen to a bunch of other heroes. Like, even something like Ida, although typically Ida hurts you so much it puts you really far behind. But if you get, like, resisted by the wrong unit, that could undo everything you did. Like, you put Beguile on their whole team, DN 15% you, and then she just cleanses everything off. And then this hero just has a bunch of dead turns, right? So I think this hero has a very, very scary opener, like a game-winning opener. But you're going to lose matches if you draft this hero a lot, just a bad RNG when you get 15%, they don't get reset on the right hero, etc., etc. So I could see her being somewhat frustrating to use, but I actually think this is one of the strongest opening skills I've seen, particularly because you can chain it with this, right? So you sleep 1 person, you reset a bunch of them. Remember, this is a non-attack skill, so it won't wake up whoever slept, and you reset them, so... yeah, and she's faster than Judge Key. Like, a big reason why Judge Kisei doesn't work that well as an opener, she's just really slow and, you know, can't be stealthed in the opener or anything. So if they pick something like Acid into you, it's a must ban. But this, like, it looks like you could be tanky, looks like you could be fast with high effectiveness. Yeah, I think I'll definitely try and build this hero. I think this could be pretty annoying. So that's my first thoughts on her. I think she'll be a very strong opening unit, but... you have to get a lot done in that opener, because I think after that opening, you know, turn, this hero kind of just becomes dead weight for a while, which is not that uncommon. Similar flaw with, like, not really a flaw, but trait with heroes like Flan, where their opener can be very scary, and then they're just kind of tickling your butthole for a while. So yes, one of those heroes. Very scary opener, kind of useless after, so you better draft a team that takes advantage of that strong opener. But I have a strong feeling people will utilize this hero in RTA. So let's move on to the next hero. Alright, so now we have ASTROMANCER ELENA. I gotta say, this art style looks weird to me. It doesn't look Epic 70 to me. It looks a little different. I actually don't know if I like her facial design at least that much, but maybe it's just this one picture. Actually, it looks better here. Maybe it's all the sparkles that made it look weird. She still looks kind of weird to me, like, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I'm sure you guys will disagree. But I feel like, oh, she looks better here. I don't know. Not my favorite artwork. Alright, well, let's see. What is she? Light Ranger, so double Ranger release, not that fast. Looks like she'll be some kind of DPS, because typically that's what happens and they give you a lot of built-in crit chance. Okay, so not that fast. Looks like some kind of damage unit, we'll see. No effectiveness, right? Yeah, no effectiveness, so it doesn't look like a debuff unit. Oh, wait, but it does have debuffs. Okay, what is it? Enraged Stars Retribution. Pissed off stars. Attacks all enemies with the energy of the enraged star, decreasing buff durations by 1 turn, so not a strip, but decreased buff duration, before restricting and making them unable to counterattack for 2 turns. Interesting. When using the skill, increases hit chance by 35%. So yeah, I mean, it could still miss against a lot of heroes, but I guess the idea is if you put her on, like, symbol, then she won't miss. Okay, so this skill cannot trigger... Oh, so not only does it shut down counters, it personally cannot be countered no matter what. Cannot counterattack... Is that the name of the buff? Makes the target unable to counterattack. This effect is applied... I bet the icon is just going to be a red version of the counter buff. Soul Burn ignores effect resistance. Alright, so let's see this thingy in action.
Durations by 1 turn, before restricting and making them unable to counterattack for 2 turns. When using this skill, increases hit chance by 35%.
Wait a bit, that's actually a super cool animation. No matter what this hero has, I love the way that it looks like it's like a carpet bomb.
When using this skill, increases hit chance
that's
by 35%.
That's a sweet animation. Well, what did I say? It's a red counter buff, right? And that's, I guess, called cannot... Actually, it's saying on top, cannot counterattack. What a ghetto name for a debuff, but hey, at least it's not confusing. It's exactly what it is. With all the weird names they give stuff, you would think they'd come with some weird name like, I don't know, like fatigue or something to explain that. But I like it. I like counterattack. You know, I always like to see the rest of the kit before having thoughts. So, skill 2, Disciple of the Stars. After an ally, except the caster attacks when the target is unable to counterattack. Okay, so basically you have to land your S3 and attack someone who has that debuff. And it increases combat readiness of all allies by 15%, but also acquires 10 souls? Is there any move in the game that just gives you 10 souls? That's pretty crazy. It can only be activated every 4 turns, though, but still, like that's crazy. So, anytime you see something weird like this, there's some kind of synergy we're missing. Like, they're trying to give you enough souls to burn into something else. Like, I'm sure they playtested something and they were like, we got to do this to enable this cool combo. I don't want to sit here and think about it because I'm just kind of recording this on the spot, but I bet this enables some cool tech. I just can't think of what it is right now, but let's see it. Or maybe they'll show it in the debut. Who knows? Well, is this going to be a good showcase?
Worship Me. Worship Me. Increases combat readiness of all allies by 15% and acquire 10 souls.
That
can only be activated once every 4 turns.
Oh, wait. So you see that? I don't know why I got so many extra souls. Maybe he had 9 or whatever, 8, and got one for using the skill, another 10. But watch, there's no souls here, right? Actually, let me check my OBS to make sure you could even see the souls. Yeah, you could. So there's no souls.
4 turns.
And then suddenly she has 2. So I think that's the tech. Like, you can, there's some kind of combo you could do by getting that many souls. Alright. That's the one probably gonna be boring. Attacks the enemy with punishing melody when a target has a debuff. Actually, I missed that. How strong does this hero actually hit? Well, this one's freaking tanky though. 17.8k
The target has a debuff, increases
has debuffs, hits a Conqueror Lilius for 3k. Damage seems like dog water, but we don't have any idea what this build is. I wish in the showcase they kind of showed you what the build was, but she has 17.8k HP, which is astronomical for a ranger. I mean, I guess her base HP is that good? I don't even know. I think it looks okay, but I think it's definitely not a DPS build, so maybe she hits pretty strong. Okay, so I could think of one massive flaw with this hero, which is funny because the previous hero kind of showed that they understand that it's a flaw and fixed it. So what did shoot, I don't even remember what the last hero's name was. LUA? I think it was LUA. So they understand that that buff has very little value if it can be cleansed, right? So what did they do? They added that one turn reset to it so that you can't cleanse it as long as you have enough effectiveness and it lands, and you eat that 40% damage to your whole team in the opener. So what is the problem with this hero? Like, you got to be careful with the speed tuning here, right? And how you're going to use it. And you might even want to consider building it slow or something, which is fine because most counter units are sub 200 speed. So maybe you'd want to keep her right around like 210 or something. Like, I feel like, because what is super popular right now? What is in almost every draft? Like Dien and Kekwick, right? So this is a debuff. Yeah, you shut down counterattacks, but unlike something like SC Pillis or something, if this buff or debuff isn't applied, she actually does not shut down counter units at all. Even her passive only works if that buff is in play. So what happens if you build this thing fast, you drop this S3, there's nothing stopping them, like a DN, from just saying, okay, I'm just going to cleanse it. And you're back to square one, and this thing has a 4 or 5 turn cooldown. So I think people are going to get overly excited about this here because they're going to be like, oh, counterattacks are toxic and whatever. And remember, I'm talking about an RTA point of view. This might be super strong in Guild Wars, because what are all Guild Wars about? Like, just cheesing you with as many layers of RNG possible, right? So in Guild Wars, especially with the fact that you have an ignore effect resistant soul burn, it might be a way to build a safe team against these teams, especially things like Shu, where they're just banking on Shu countering and S2ing and one-shotting you. Might be a good opener for safe Guild Wars. But in RTA, I think in practice it's going to be hard to make this work. Because number one, the other team has to pick a bunch of... Because I don't think it's worth it to pick this if they only pick like one counter unit, right? Because she doesn't do all that much outside of that. Yeah, just some piddly damage and this thing that relies on that debuff landing. So honestly, in RTA, I don't think she'll be all that important. Because not many people already were just drafting full counter teams, because then you run the risk of running into like Rwana and LHC and stuff. There's plenty of ways to deal with counter teams right now. So I think in RTA, I feel like people are going to get super stoked just reading this. But I think in practice, it probably won't be that good. Because not only does the other team have to have a lot of counterattacks to make it worth drafting a unit that's otherwise pretty useless. On top of that, it could just be cleansed, so you also have to worry about, if they pick 2 cleansers, I don't know, pretty wonky. The only way around that is if she was like innately super tanky and did a ton of damage, but it doesn't look like she has any built-in mitigation skills, and maybe that's why in the demo she's built pretty tanky, but then her damage is doo-doo. So again, like I don't know. I think I keep forgetting her. Lua. I think she honestly excites me a lot more than this hero. I think this hero might be a very good Guild Wars unit, especially for top guilds who really value consistency, right? Because if you're a top guild, you want to win every fight. You don't want to leave things to 15%. And I think that's why they gave it ignore effect resistance as well. Bring it with like Taga Hells and say, okay, your counter team shut down, and now we're safe. We're not going to have to eat Shu counters. Maybe that's what this is for. In RTA, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe other people are saying this is going to be really strong. But I think, unless this is like undispellable or something, I think it'll just get cleansed. And I think she just doesn't bring enough to the table for units that aren't counterattacking. So, am I going to pull her? Hell yeah. That S3 animation's sick, but overall, I'm kind of meh on her. I don't really care all that much. So, alright, those are my thoughts. I don't want to make you sit through watching this whole thing with me together, but I guess the idea is that everyone's going to have an unable to counter buff, and they're not going to counter. So anyways, what do you guys think? Did I miss any text? Did I say something really idiotic? You know, I do that sometimes. Let me know. Put it in the comment section below. And for anyone pulling on these heroes, I wish you guys the best of luck. Join Channel Nuts and throw in a meep meep, and you'll be blessed with amazing luck, you know, 10% of the time. So anyways, thanks for watching. Till next time, boys. Peace out.